This episode is brought to you by William Hill's Final One Standing. It's free to play, it's the ultimate elimination game. How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Right, an early Monday morning, game week 3 out of the way. First loss of the season in the bag. It's international break now. The regulars are here. Me, Jordan, Lee, and James in the building. Individual channels, you should know what to do already. And you know what it's about, people. I'm sure you've been supporting the podcast for long enough now to know the mood of the podcast changes with the results. Who would have known? But yeah, might as well say Fourever Flip-Floppers podcast. Let's get this in now before everyone says, oh, one day you're happy, one day. We lost the game against Liverpool. We had an opportunity, and yeah, we currently sit on 6 points out of 9. But we're here to talk, people. We're here to talk. How are you generally feeling about it all? The morning after, the night before, we'll call it.
Furious.
Yeah, because I could actually see that, yeah.
Deflated.
Jordan?
Disappointed. Yeah.
So the sentiments are echoed throughout. All right. I mean, where do we begin, lads? Where do we begin? I mean, the lineup is probably the best place to start. And you know what's funny? I bantered Jordan last episode.
Oh, I was going to get there. I was getting there.
Might as well get straight in.
No.
Before you guys kick off.
But you know what? I'm glad it happened. Like, not glad it happened like that, but it's just the thought of doing that. You know, this ain't me on Arteta right now. It's the thought of doing that before Mikel Arteta doing that was like, nah, we can't be doing that.
Fair play.
You all bantered me. You all side-eyed me. You all looked at me and laughed. And I
don't think we laughed. I think we tried very hard not to laugh in your face, to be fair.
Well, here we are don't think we're going to laugh about it this morning, but
sorry, Arteta don't know what we're talking about. You said that you wonder whether it would be Rice, Marino, and Zubimendi so that the fullbacks could get up the pitch, was basically what you were saying.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Arteta did something not too dissimilar.
Yeah. Fullbacks just didn't get up the pitch enough. Oh, mate. Yeah, the lineup though. Marino in midfield, that was the big decision. Eze, Nwaneri, and Odegaard all on the bench. And those are the three, you know, we kind of discussed in detail heading into the game who starts out of the three, who starts where. A lot of us suggested 2 of those 3 start, and all 3 were on the bench for a more physically dominant midfield, but at the cost of the attack. And that's exactly how it played out. Lee, you was there, as always, the regular match goer. You've come back. You've only been back a few hours. So on top of being fuming about the result, you ain't had much sleep. So community, bear that in mind. But yeah, Lee.
Listen, I'm not fuming about the result because that can happen at any stage against the top team. Let's get that right. It's the way we went about it. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone up to Liverpool yesterday. Like, I've come back home. We haven't give it a go. And that's what frustrates me about it. We haven't give it a go, guys, with Martin Odegaard, Ethan Nwaneri, Eze, Max Dowman, and Leo Trossard on the bench. He could not fit one of them into this system to get us a little bit more potent. And I'm sorry, also, I'm going to say this now. The worst decision of all, forget about the Marino one, is playing a half-fit player after he's injured in the warm-up. I didn't even know that. I thought he got injured in the first minute. What an embarrassment. You've got medical staff there on the highest money that probably medical people should have, right? And someone turned around yesterday and said that he's fit to play. Then after a minute, he goes down, right? You play on a player that comes on and is absolutely outstanding from the minute he comes on. If you've seen how good this kid is, why are you not saying, right, okay, I see Cole Palmer walking out of Chelsea last week, like, you know, I mean, not taking a gamble on him with injuries. And then we ask ourselves why we're having players continuously injured under this regime, right? There is your answer after a warm-up, that you're risking a player for a game like that. It is horrendous, right? That's the first thing I'm fuming about, right? Okay. The second thing is, I don't want to go too mad on it. The reason we've lost that game is not because of the 11 players that are out there. It's because of a manager that is more interested in not to lose a game of football than to win it. And that's a fact. He went up there yesterday to draw that game, right? To come out there without losing. Nothing wrong with that if you come out there without losing. But they didn't. And we give it a go in the 84th minute when we was 1-0 down, and we put it on them. Why can't we do that in a game? I'd rather go up there, give it a go, maybe draw 2-2, and at least I'll get on the bus on the way home yesterday. At least we've given it a go. I went up there 2 years ago when 2 years ago now, when we drew 2-2, when we were 2-0 up. At the end of the day, we could have lost the game. We was open at the end. Ramsdale made unbelievable saves at the end. But at least my football team and my club went for it. What I see yesterday was a team that is more set up not to lose games of football. I don't want a manager like that. I'm sorry, lads. I don't. I want a manager that's going to go out there and try and win games of football. And yesterday was on one person, the manager. The team, when I see the team, I could not believe it. Could not believe it. And the substitutions are a disgrace as well. And I'll tell you why they're a disgrace. Not about timing and everything like that. One player there had one training session and he comes into the team. When a player that's played,
yep.
whenever at the moment he got injured last week, contributed in a 5-0 win, has trained all week, and sits on the bench for the whole game. Now, you can turn around and say he's 18 and he's not ready and all that, like, yeah, maybe, right? So then do something like put Eze in there. I'm sorry, cost us the game, that decision yesterday. Cost us. You know what I mean? Martinelli, I'm going to talk about it. I love him, right? He was on there yesterday for his defensive duties, not his attacking duties. He's a left winger, a player on the attack, but he's in the team for his defensive duties yesterday. End of. And what's the point of buying a striker that's now played 2 games and has had hardly any touches in 2 away games? What's the point of it? When did he get a cross yesterday? When did we go to his strengths in that game? When? I'll talk about an incident later on because you guys coming in there, like, you know, I'm so frustrated because I look at that team and I look at that play. We should be a lot better than what we are, regardless who you're playing. Now, I've had people turn around like Robbie and what do you expect to gun ho? I do not expect us to go gun ho against Liverpool, but what I expect is to be a little bit more potent than what we are against these big teams. Put your chest up and say, like, come on, let's take you on. Because when are you not going to take them on with a squad like this? When are you not? When are you going to start taking them on? Rant over.
I don't think it's over. I think it's just beginning. James.
Oh, me next. Okay. Yeah, I didn't like him starting Marino. Thought that was very
Nothing
negative.
against Marino, James. You've done okay. It's not that.
Yeah, it's more the message you send out.
Yeah, brilliant point.
You did okay. So my analysis of the game is, I think it's true that Arsenal didn't really play to win it. I don't think Liverpool did either, if I'm honest. I think it was decided by a world-class goal. But I think what they did with 20 minutes to go was actually recognize we haven't played well, but let's just kind of keep trying and knocking on the door. I don't think they were very good, but they actually wanted to win. Sometimes you deserve to win because you actually wanted to. And I think Arsenal didn't really. Now, I normally push back on the narrative that I think pundits have so lazily levelled at Arsenal over the last few years, which is Arsenal don't want to win these big away games. I've always thought it's such a lazy narrative. I remember when people have sort of continued to mock us and mock me for that sort of 0-0 at the Etihad. But I know what I saw that day. I saw us going up against the eventual champions, what were treble winners. And I watched Arsenal fighting for everything, just have a foothold in that game, because Man City was so brilliant with De Bruyne, with Haaland, with Rodri. And to come out with a 0-0, where I remember that game, we tried to press, but we couldn't quite do it. We tried to counter-attack, but we couldn't quite do it. We were up against a genuinely great side that we found really, really, really difficult to get a foothold in that game against. And so when we came out with a 0-0, having only 12 months earlier been battered 4-1, I saw that as a real step forward for Arsenal. Whereas in this game, even if it ended 0-0, even if Szoboslai hadn't scored that world-class goal, I saw a Liverpool team that had conceded 2 goals from a 2-0 lead against Bournemouth at home, had conceded 2 goals from a 2-0 lead against 10-man Newcastle, who clearly had weaknesses in their defence, and who at times I thought we could get at too. And Arsenal at no point wanted to turn up the heat and just see if they could do a little bit more with that. Now, by half-time, I was happy. Not ecstatic, but I thought, you know what? We've got foothold in the game. What was the stat they showed? 12 touches in their box to their 0, 6 shots to their 2. Arsenal had control of that game by half-time. We had a platform. But I tweeted off the Gooniverse account something along the lines of, you know, we're a very good side and we're going to stifle Liverpool and we can get a foothold in the game. And we're good at that. We can get a platform. But I think title winners would seize that opportunity and recognise that we have Liverpool in a situation where actually let's turn up the heat on them. And you know, well, when the season ends in May, we want to look down on every team. And I think to look down on every team in that league, you need to have in those moments looked down on your opposition and gone, we're better than you. We're going to show it now. And we didn't. We kind of just went in our shell and went, we're doing all right here. A point might be okay. We can kick this battle down the road. Whereas Liverpool, not playing that great, went, well, we want the points anyway. And again, I don't think they were brilliant. Outside of that, Szoboslai chance, obviously, there's the offside goal. I don't really think they did too much. But Salah started getting more one-on-one opportunities with Calafiori. Suddenly, we were parked in our half. Suddenly, the press wasn't quite working. Suddenly, we hadn't actually kept the ball for 20 minutes outside the odd corner. And you thought, momentum slipped. And they've got the match-winning quality to nick the 3 points. And that's what happened. So I think this is the first time when it comes to these big 6 away games that people are so critical of Arsenal for whatever reason, which I think is such a false narrative that suddenly Arsenal are the only team that now need to win all these big away games to win the title. I think it's nonsense. But in this particular game, I think it's about sensing the opposition and sensing an opportunity. And we never did. And that opportunity, I thought, was there in this game. So I'm just majorly disappointed that I think, with the players we've got on the pitch and the talent, and actually I thought individuals were playing all right. Like, I thought Zubimendi had a good first half. I thought Rice had a good game. I thought Madueke was causing Kirk's problems, and we never wanted to really try and build on that and at least nick a goal. So for me, a missed opportunity and a deserved defeat purely because we didn't sense an opportunity to win it, which I think was there.
James, can I just come in before you guys come in? Like, you know, when people go, oh, why have Arsenal got to be brave? Liverpool were the same and all that. The difference is, from my point of view, is that they're champions. They've got over the line. For us to get over the line, we've got to do something different. That's my argument. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when people go, oh, well, why Liverpool weren't brave? Liverpool weren't this. Liverpool are champions. They've got over the line. We have gone 3 years without getting over the line. The argument and the incentive is for us to get. What is going to get us over the line? My argument is be a bit braver in those moments that you exactly said what happened there, because we did dominate the first half. You know what I mean? And we were the better team. But when it really mattered, we never went on. Your point there is exactly right. We was dominant, and we thought to ourselves, you know what? We're dominant. We'll take the point instead of going, we're dominant. This is when we go and get the win. And that is why we have not got over the line, in my opinion. And that is why we won't get over the line unless there's a change. And the reason is Liverpool have got over the line. Manchester City have got over the line. It isn't on them. I know that they're at home, Liverpool and all that, but it's not. We're talking about us. How are we going to get over that? How are we going to get second to first? And there is the exact moment that why we're not. That's why we're not. Because you're right. 2 years ago, we were in that position at Man City. We were a much, 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 much better team than what I see yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And we went, right, okay. We went, but we're 2 years on now. With a lot more players, and the attitude was exactly the same as it was yesterday as it was 2 years ago. That is my problem.
And can I just add, before John and Tash come in, that when you use the word brave, people need to stop associating the word brave with like analysis performance. No one is saying Liverpool were brave yesterday because they played really well and they created loads of chances, they were better. No, it's the opposite. They weren't playing that well, yet they tried to win it. They didn't go, oh, we're not playing great, so we're just going to fall in our shell and keep the ball, much like the first half where it was a lot of kind of cagey football. Yeah. They actually started to expand and play, even though it wasn't going their way, even though they weren't having a great game and causing us problems. Arsenal weren't brave because we did have a foothold in the game, and we ultimately went, we're kind of happy with where we are. We don't really want to try and build on it. And that's what it is. It's a statement of intent. And for me, you only have to look at, people say, but Arteta chucked on Odegaard and Eze in the 68th minute. Okay, but it's all about an intent to play. Our press fell off in the second half. We played 10 yards deeper. We invited them on. We ultimately, we're quite happy with what we got. We're not really going to try and do too much more. Whereas Liverpool went, we're not having a great game, but we want to win it. And I'm not saying they even played well. They didn't really. But you know what? They kind of got what they deserved purely for the endeavour. That's my biggest problem.
Yeah, and I think looking at Liverpool and saying, you know, did they try and win it is a bit disingenuous all round when it's the way we set up that, you know, forced them into playing the way they did, which was not great. So on one hand, I get Arteta's going to lean on that, and I think he spoke about we frustrated them to win it. I think he said, you know, like James said at halftime, I was calling for a sub because at halftime I was happy. At halftime, I thought defensively sound, and we are the bigger attacking threat. Not saying much because there's been no attacking threat in this first half, but at least Madueke a couple of times over the top. Kirk has done very well against him, but that was our main outlet. In the first half, Madueke was probably the most exciting attacker on the pitch because he had a couple moments. That's all it took because that's, you know, the first half was pretty positive from our end in terms of nullifying them and having sat on the counter. I said at halftime, bring Eze on. Show that intent. Show that, okay, we've settled into the game. We're controlling Liverpool's attack. They haven't had nothing. We haven't had much either. But, you know, from here, what do you do? Because Liverpool are not going to be happy with it at halftime. So they're bound to do something, whether it's tactically or mentally, to get back in this game. What are we going to do? And then James is right. We rested on our laurels. And we waited and waited and waited. And then 70th minute, the subs came after Liverpool started, you know, breaking the lines, cracking through, getting shots on target. Nothing really to worry about. But it still took Arteta long enough to. And then with 20 minutes, I mean, I get the whole don't start Eze. He hasn't played in an Arsenal shirt yet. Well, why bring him on with 20 minutes to go at Anfield then? Is that any better of a platform for him to come on? At least a 30 minutes. He can come in for 10 minutes, 15, feel his way into the game, and then maybe start having some sort of dictating to the attacks. 20 minutes, Odegaard and Eze. Then I'm even looking at what Lee said. You told us Odegaard hasn't trained all week. So you got Nwaneri there. He's coming from a guy that said don't rely on teenagers, but that's a teenager that last year came in, you know, stepped in and stepped up in Saka's absence. He scored 9 goals across the season, and he got a new contract off the back of it, and he's featured in the number 10 since. So it looks like all the things behind the scenes were true to some extent in terms of he'd like to play more centrally, and he got maybe those assurances that he'll have the opportunities to. This was a game to bring him on. Because even against Leeds, as much as Odegaard came off injured, we started playing better when Nwaneri came on into the 10. So why wasn't that opportunity given? Because Arteta's risk averse. And I think this season is the realization more than ever, because previous seasons we can say, this is the tools at his disposal. He hasn't upgraded the attack yet. You know, he's done the defense, he's done the goalkeeper, he's done the midfield. Like, he hasn't done the attack. So let's hold off because, you know, I'm sure when he adds the attack, we see a bit. Well, he's added the attack. And I know we had a couple injuries here, but it's also a mentality thing from Mikel. Like we played the worst of the lot against Liverpool across the 3 games. Really,
100%.
Bournemouth, Newcastle, and we created the least against them. We played the worst against them. We got nothing from it. So as much as all right, playing like that for 17 minutes looked like we're gonna shit house a point here. When you play like that, a moment of magic can end it for you. And that's what a moment of magic did. And we can say all day, it's unfortunate, 9 times out of 10, that free kick goes high, wide, and handsome. Cool. But when you set up like that, you leave yourself exposed. That one moment of magic, one mistake even, can lead to you everything going out the window, losing it. And then how does that have an effect? Because part of this season for me is bringing that fear factor back. You've bought Gyökeres in, you've bought Zubimendi in, you've bought Madueke in, you've now bought Eze in. A lot of those players come with a certain fear factor, especially in the transition, especially, the quick counters, playing between the lines, putting the defenses on their back foot. We're yet to see that. And I get it, it's only 3 games in, but it's 6 years in. Like, we cannot keep on resetting every year, and because new players come in, it's let's give time. No, he's got to get it right. And this is part of why I wanted Gyökeres in earlier in this season. That's why Haggin in over 3-4 million in pre-season just didn't seem sensible to me, when the importance of having these men ready for the season and having the tactics ready with these men was essential, in my opinion. Even Eze coming in, when he came in, we was talking to him in beginning of July. So the delay in everything has caused the delay in them being ready tactically, mentally, physically, and it leads to this, which is the norm for Arteta now. I think we know what he is now, that this is the type of manager he is. And when you're this type of manager, you've got to win or you've got to go. That if you're playing these tactics now in your 6th year, after spending 200 million on the attack, and you don't win it, it's inexcusable. If you go and win it, masterclass. But if you go and finish second again, it's inexcusable. Even finishing second, which is a long way off what we was 6 years ago. I get that. Before everyone's like, remember where we was 4 years ago. Okay, remember where we was 2 years ago, challenging for a title. What's happened since then? Nothing. We're still challenging for a title. So it just depends what metric you want to use. I don't get it. Like I said, we're talking about 3 attacking players, Odegaard, Ranieri, and Eze, and none of the 3 start, when we're all talking about what 2 of the 3 start. That was our expectation going into this game, and he started Marino, and it's just not good enough generally. I'm with Lee. It's the way you go down that matters, and we didn't go down with a fight. Eze had one chance after they scored, and I think he should have scored. If I'm honest with you, should have done a lot better.
I didn't well enough for that. Yeah.
Nah, but ultimately that was probably the only real chance we created throughout the whole game.
I got more to add. I want to hear Jordan's take as well, because I agree. I agree with everything that's being said on this pod so far.
I'm just disappointed, boys, because I feel like it's an opportunity missed. I predicted 3-1 in last week on the last pod, not because I was being biased or gassed or anything like that. I believed it. I genuinely believed this occasion, because I predicted Arsenal defeats before, so I don't have any issue in calling a spade a spade. If I think we might lose a game, I'll call it. I thought we were going to win this game 3-1. I'm disappointed that we didn't do that.
Until you saw the lineup, and then you thought, yeah, I'm an idiot, like I did, I assume.
I was a bit concerned at that point, yeah. I know we're 3 games in, boys, and I've flown the flag for Mikel Arteta in the face of a lot of backlash, a lot of anger. Yesterday was the first time, and comments can correct me if I've said this before, but I think yesterday was the first time I thought to myself, I don't know if this guy can win us a league. It was the first time. I know you guys have had doubts before, and I understand that. This was the first time I thought to myself, this. I'm not sure. I'm not saying this guy won't win us a league. I'm not saying I want Mikel Arteta out. I'm saying it was the first time that I thought, oh, he's bitched out. He's bitched out. He's bitched out. I think Mikel Arteta, this being risk averse, is going to be a problem, because he's got the tools now to go to places like Anfield, even without your best 2 players and captain, best two being Saliba and Saka, and still getting at least a point. This morning, boys, I've been up for quite a bit, right? I was up really early this morning. I had some bits to do. So I was catching up on a couple of the Arsenal accounts and fan channels that I rate. There's not many, but there's a couple that I like, and some of the blogs, and just kind of hearing what the fans had to say in reaction to the game. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I'm genuinely stunned at what I'm hearing. Brilliant performance, unlucky. We were really good, but Liverpool won it by the worldie. Really good performance, but it's Liverpool. What are you talking about? Wasn't a good performance. Wasn't a good performance. And let me tell you why it wasn't a good performance. All summer I've heard, and from you three and the fan base, all summer I've heard, this is the year he has to win the league. It's been 5 years. He's now been tooled up with the players that he wants. We've got the striker in that we needed. This is the year we have to win the league. Not an unreasonable opinion. I don't think that's an unreasonable opinion. Fine. How can you say this is the year to win the league and then deem yesterday a good performance? 3 years ago, that was a good performance. Going to Anfield and not getting slapped and getting out of a point is a good point.
When you're building your base, you're building your platform there because of the history behind the games. You're right.
We used to go to Anfield and Etihad and Stamford Bridge, and even United a few years before that, and just know we're going to probably lose today, right? And we'll probably lose badly. There's a phrase in cricket called the collapse, right? Those that follow cricket know that when you lose wickets, lots of wickets in a very short period of time, it's called a collapse. We'd go to Stamford Bridge, the Etihad, Anfield, and when they score that first goal, it's coming. Bang, bang, bang. 3 goals in half an hour. 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. Arteta got us to a point where we got to places like Anfield, the Etihad, Stamford Bridge, and we were solid. And we knew the collapse days are over. So going there and getting a point, that's a good point in our evolution, right? It's a good point at Anfield. You can't tell me that this is the year to win the league and getting a point at Anfield is a good performance. It's not. It's not a good performance. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. 2 years ago, that would have been good. If Spurs had gone to Anfield yesterday, guys, and played the exact same way and lost 1-0, I would say good performance. Good performance. We are beyond that. We are beyond that. It's partly why I thought we could win yesterday, because I felt in the evolution of this team under Mikel Arteta and with the gunman. No, don't just go for a point. Go there and beat them. I disagree with people that say the Man City game 2 years ago, we drew, what was the score in the end? Was it 0-0? People say, that was the game you had to win. I disagree. I thought we lost the title because of defeats at home to Villa, at home to West Ham, and I think Brighton 2 draws, right? That's where you lost the league, not away at the Etihad. But now 2 years on, you have to go to the Etihad and win. You have to go to Anfield and win. A point is still not a bad point. But don't tell me that's a good performance, because it's just not. It's not. We're beyond that. That was a good performance 2 years ago. It's not a good performance, guys. Look, I've got a book this year of notes that I've started the season, right? And I make all my notes every game in it to hold myself accountable for what I say and what I see, right? And I've got quite a few notes, and I won't go through them because there's a lot here. But I was just watching I watched the game back this morning as well, the whole game for the second time. Madueke was really good. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't very good. He had a couple of chances where he had a couple of shots on goal and he worked hard. That sounds familiar. And we'll get to the other guy on the wing in a second. But he wasn't good. Madueke's a good player. But one thing I'm realizing about him is he's not a killer. And I know he's a backup to Saka, so as a backup, fine. But he's a nice player. He's not a killer. So let's just dispel this myth that he played well. He played okay. He wasn't bad. He was okay. But don't tell me he played good. Over the 3 games this season, guys, take out set pieces, we've created 4, 5, maybe good goal-scoring chances. 3 games, and take out set pieces, I've got them down. 4 or 5 genuine, not half chances, not kind of good, could have gone our way. I'm talking 4 or 5 genuine goal-scoring chances. Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports yesterday, and I thought I was going crazy. said what I've been saying for a year. Arsenal's problem this summer wasn't, or last season even, wasn't scoring goals. This narrative that if we get a striker, we'll be fine. Arsenal's biggest problem last year was creating chances. And he said it, and I'm like, oh, it's not just me thinking this. It wasn't scoring chances. It was creating chances, and nothing's changed. Over the course of the game, boys, how many chances did we create? How many? That goal-scoring chances. How many did we create?
Even the Eze one was a deflection off a defender that landed to his feet.
Come on. So I'm just not buying this idea that a striker was the biggest issue. We needed a striker. We needed a striker, boys. We did. But it wasn't our biggest issue. Our biggest issue is we don't create chances. And this is why I go back to Arteta.
Sorry, Jordan, we agree with that. That's why I spent all
No. Or maybe you guys do, but the prevailing view all summer was we need a guy to score goals, and that is the difference.
Yeah, from casuals, I agree.
I don't think that was the biggest issue. I think creating. We don't create chances. Now, I'm going to come to Martinelli, the flirter, because this has to end. We're playing with 10 men. Lee mentioned earlier on the fact that defensively, he's an asset. Whenever I bash Martinelli, guys, for his offensive or lack of offensive of prowess, right? I always caveat it with, but defensively, he's a weapon. Defensively, he's an asset. Defensively, he always tracks his man, doubles up. Look, I watched the game back, so I thought maybe I'm bugging. Yesterday, that's not true. Yesterday, defensively, he wasn't an asset. He wasn't. Calafiore, by the way, I want to come to him in a second, did his job on Mo Salah. But I don't think even the flirter was defensively good yesterday. I think we just say that now because he normally is, but he wasn't yesterday. He wasn't. We're playing with 10 men. In 5-6 minutes, he had a run where he's got the ball on the counter. I'm like, yo!
Oh my God, you're not cutting on your right foot, Marty. Cutting on your right foot.
He had 3 options and
two of them were on his right. 2 of them were on his right, and he goes left.
It's shocking.
Gyökeres is taking a man left. Oh, that was terrible.
It's shocking, guys.
That was terrible.
It's shocking. And when I first started criticizing Martinelli, guys, what did I say about him 3 years ago? I said his decision making is awful. 3 years ago, I said that. We're playing with 10 men. It's done. Right, on from him. One more point before I let you guys come back in.
Am I right in saying, sorry, just on that subject though, before you continue, yeah? Like, we've lauded the defense for long enough now. You know, we've come a long way, right? We don't need to keep on saying we've come a long way because for a good few years now, we've been defensively sound, resolute. We've built the most fearful unit, let's say, defensively. That's all good. Well, credit needs to be given. Credit is deserved for that. But building the attack is the most difficult part of the job. Yeah. And we've been sucked into the whole part of this great defense is that our wingers are better defenders than attackers. When in football history has this been the case? When in football history has every player, because even in Mourinho's Chelsea, they had a Robben and a Duff. Who, okay, they played their part defensively, but offensively, their shackles were off, right? And that was probably one of the greatest defensive teams of all time. Even a Simeone side had the players with not so much shackles off with Simeone, but they had the magic. You know, a couple like a Griezmann could have pulled, you know, they had a bit. Yeah. Arteta's failed to deliver the hardest part, which is, okay, you've built the foundation, you've built the base.
That's my final point.
What is coming off the back of it? We can't be saying our wingers are defensive. Who gives a shit? It's like when Dirk Kuyt used to be the best defensive striker and stuff. Like when you have these players, you delude yourself into focusing on the positive, but really is the positive a positive when it equals a negative? Do you get what I'm saying?
I told you that was my final point. Mikel Arteta has built a solid foundation whereby when we go to big teams like Liverpool or Paris or Madrid, we're solid. I never ever fear about us being out of position or being dragged or being open. Positionally, without the ball, we're the best team in Europe. We're the best team I never have concerns about our base. Defending wise, we are an absolute monster. But he has to let this team play. He has to. He's killing us. He's killing us. Liverpool weren't even that. They weren't good. But as you say, when these big games are defined by fine margins, you leave yourself. I think you said it earlier on, Turkish. You leave yourself open to one bit of magic, and you're done. Now that could have gone our way. Maybe we get the free kick. Maybe Eze does something magical. Cool. But when you cruise for so long in cruise control against top teams, you leave yourself open to being slapped with a bit of magic, and that's what happened. That's the difference. So my main point is, I don't want to hear this. We were good, because we weren't good in the context of a team winning a title. We were good if your metric is get top 4. We were good if your metric is be in the title shake-up. If your metric is we have to win the title this season, that was not good. That was not good.
Okay, but what I want to do is, because there's something I slightly pull back on. For example, do I expect us to play our best attacking football without Ben White, William Saliba, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka? You could chuck in Kai Havertz if you want. Not really. So I do think it's frustrating to miss all those players for that game. I have to say, I do find that frustrating. Having said that, though, again, it goes back to intent. The first half, I thought we did a lot of really good things. To go to Anfield, Liverpool, as much as we talk about them conceding goals, they've been scoring goals for fun. To go to Anfield and stifle them that much in the first 45, we've done a lot right. On and off the ball, by the way, because this wasn't parking the bus and just blocking the spaces, low blocking, heading out crosses. We had maybe not more possession, but we had good possession. I think it was maybe 51-49 by halftime. We had pretty much as much of the ball as they had. We moved it around nicely. We pressed. They couldn't get near our goal. We had 12 touches in their box to their 0. Imagine Liverpool going to halftime with 0 touches in our box. So we've done something right. The platform was there. I still push back on this narrative that we had to win that game. We didn't have to win that game. But what we have to do is smell an opportunity and sense, oh, well, we want to be the best team in the league. We've got them not in their full flow. Why don't we maintain the press? In fact, why don't we up it? Why don't we step forward 10 yards? Because I'm glad you gave credit to Calafiori. I thought he was brilliant on Salah. We were doing a lot of good jobs in our individual battles. Zubimendi and Rice in the first half, I thought did well. I thought Mosquera came on. Fair play to him. That's basically his Premier League debut. I thought he was fantastic, guys. I thought he was absolutely brilliant on and off the ball. Very brave on the ball. I didn't expect him to look that smooth at Anfield. I thought he looked really, really good. And I thought, wow, there's a platform there. Now step up. Now people go, well, why are you blaming Arteta? He brought on Eze and Odegaard in the 68th minute. So the intent was there. It's about how high your team set up. It's about how quickly you chase that ball. It's about the quality and intent you show on the ball to play forward. And there were times where they attacked us and we retrieved possession and we wanted to keep the ball till they got back. We didn't want to attack an open side. And that's what really bothers me. There was a chance to make the game a little bit more basketball. I'm not saying end-to-end, make it open crazy, because they're going to kill us if we do that. But the opportunity to try and exploit spaces more, and we didn't. Now, you say Madueke didn't play well. Okay. But you can't deny...
So just be clear on that. I thought he played... I thought he was okay.
He was okay,
There was a lot of okay performances. Madueke was a 6 out of 10. I don't think he was poor. It was a 6 out of 10.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. But he was without question the biggest threat in the front line.
That's
and
a low bar.
Why didn't I... Huh?
That's a low bar.
No, okay, fine. But that's the context of the game. So why didn't we play to him more? Like, why didn't we sense that and go, he's causing Kirker's problems? Because even though Kirker's actually got his foot on crosses and actually blocked a lot, he was winning corners. He was doing something that earned us territory and kept Liverpool pinned in. Why didn't we play to that more? Why didn't we recognise it? It looked like Raya recognised that more than any other player on the pitch. That's what annoyed me. And a few times Raya and Zubimendi actually played Madueke in behind, and he showed pace I didn't realise he had. And he was doing some stuff. I thought, okay, this is at least this is getting Liverpool running backwards. We didn't want to do enough of that. We had one good moment where Marino played a ball into the channel to Gyökeres, and he was making that run. And what he did, he pinned a full back and he rolled it into Timber. Controversial opinion. People were sort of slandering Gyökeres. I thought he did very well with the very little he had. He had nothing all game, and the little he had, I thought he did quite well to hold off a defender, try and put it wasn't pretty, but he was trying. but we never kind of recognised the little moments where we were having some joy in the final third and played to that. You know why? Because we didn't really want to risk it all to win the game. Now, okay, I'm being facetious there a little bit. We shouldn't risk it all to win the game because we're at Anfield. But I keep repeating my point.
But I think we should. Sorry, before Lee comes back in, I think
I don't think we should risk it all. I don't think we should risk it all.
I do. Let me just quickly tell you why. So I know Lee wants to come back in. It's game 3. It's game 3. If you go for it and lose the game 2-0, all right, cool. What's the downside, really?
I disagree with that. That would have been naive because they've got 3 points on us. I know they've got it anyway. To be fair,
exactly.
And they've got it anyway. I know. But it's people always think of it as park the bus or full throttle. No, it's somewhere in the middle. And then as the game goes on, you just lift it a little bit. That's all it is. It's just showing a little bit more intent. It's just, Mosquera and Gabriel and Calafiori, because I think Timber had a poor game. I'd love to know everyone's take on this. But I think a lot of them we were winning our battles. We were pinned in. We were actually dominating physically, and we didn't want to build on it. It's so annoying, guys. They were there for us to hurt them a little bit more.
Listen, I don't want to be here all day bashing Arteta and people I've seen online calling him a clown and that. He's not a clown. He's a good manager. He's got us to a position which is unbelievable. As you would turn around and said, like, I've gone to Anfield for many a year, wanting to know not about winning a game, is how many we're not going to lose by. Right, let's be honest. Right, I've come out of there at half time. We're 4-1 down, 3-0 down, and things like that. Like, yeah, it's not about that. It's about him getting over the line. Now, people are turning around and saying, "Oh, he's got to win the league and all that." We've got no right to win this league when Liverpool were a much better team than us last season and has just gone out and bought and improved their attacking lines tenfold by the signings that they've made, right? They've improved it. We know that, right? So there's no divine right. But what you've got to do is when they're nowhere near at their best and they're vulnerable. What I see yesterday, right? I watched Bournemouth, I watched that game, and I watched Newcastle with 10 men take it to Liverpool, and we are a better team than Bournemouth, and we're a better team than Newcastle. And we did not do what them two teams have done to us. Now, you're telling me that Everton are going to go there in a couple of weeks' time because that's their next home game, right? And they're going to sit back and defend and hope to get a 1-0 win or something like that. We are better than that. That's my point on that, right? And when you look at it, the things today, I've got a couple of points and all that. I'm going to defend Madueke. Like, I think he got about 6 corners down the right-hand side, right? We got 1 on the whole game down the left-hand side. So at the end of it, like, he's done okay. He was our more potent attacking player yesterday, like out of the 3. Defensively, let's just talk about it. Are we the best defensive team in the league? I think so. Mikel doesn't think so. He doesn't think so because what he does is he goes and protects it with like another 2 extra midfield players and things like that. I thought at the end of the day, Timber weren't great going forward. Capo didn't get a kick. Salah didn't get a kick. The Verts didn't do nothing. Their centre forward
wasn't in the game, no.
He comes off. We've done the defensive job on them, right? Trust that defence. If it's that good, there's your platform. Let other players perform, right? Yeah, you maybe have to have 1 holding midfielder. Maybe in a game against Liverpool away from home, you have 2. But you must have attackers and must have a threat. I watched Bournemouth have a threat against Liverpool. I never see that from Arsenal yesterday, a threat. That is what I'm beefed about from my point of view. Now, when you look at it, yes, we're missing Saka. Yes, we're missing Odegaard, yeah? But we've got is that forward line, that front forward line, better than Bournemouth's? I believe it is. Is it better than Newcastle's? Certainly is, because they're blunt. And there they are, causing problem after problem after problem. And also making problems on set pieces as well, which Liverpool defended fantastically well yesterday, because they knew they had to, right? So that is my beef. right, about everything that I was saying again. Now, the one thing that really annoyed me yesterday, right, and listen, Calafiori was outstanding. I'm not going to have a go at him when I say this, right? The ball comes down to him on the left-hand side. He's left-footed. All he has to do is just open his body up and just play the ball. First time down the line, Gyökeres is in. Like, if he's not in, it may be Martinelli. It may be Eze or whatever. What he done was when he got into that position, he come inside, he played it to Rice, who then played it to Zubamendi, who then played it to Timber, who played it to Mascara, then played it into Gabriel. It might have gone back to Raya. I don't think it did. It went back to Calafiori. He's in exactly the same position as he was a minute ago, but he didn't want to play the early pass. Now, that isn't Calafiori's problem. He is being told to do that. Keep possession, keep possession, keep possession. When you've got a centre forward and you've got these attacks, you must hit them in quickly. I watched Tottenham the other day against Manchester City, like, you know what I mean? They win that game because they hit the ball into their wide areas quickly. We didn't. When we got there was an incident yesterday, and I'm done with Martinelli now because of this. I am, because I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the way he gets the ball. We're on the counter attack, right? They're maybe 4 against 4. He sprints 20 yards, right? What's his next movement? He comes back. He comes
three
back.
options. He's got 3 options, Lee.
Yeah,
Three.
but I don't. I'm trying to stick up for it. I don't think he fit. I think in his head now. Oh no! I've got to keep the ball. I've got to keep possession here. So he comes back and he plays it back to Calafiori, who plays it to Zubamendi, who plays it across to Timber, and we continue to keep the ball. Now I'm looking at that and thinking, right, go hit him now, hit him. And all he done was went 20 yards in a sprint and thought, hold on a minute, I've got to come back and play. That's no good when you've got Gyökeres up front. Who, I'm with you, James. For what he did, he done okay. You know what I mean? He held the ball up on a couple of occasions. He looked, you know, he was getting bashed about all the time and he showed strength. But at the end of the day, you've got to give him the opportunities to go down the channels and try and get these players. And we did not do it. They're the little frustrations of it. But when people turn around, I've heard people sack Arteta, do this, do that. I'm not saying that. I'm criticising him because I do think he's a good manager, but he's got to be better if we're going to win the league. Like, if you want to be top 4 and you're happy about being second all the time, right, he's your man. He is your man. But if you want to get over the line, there's those little incidents that I've just mentioned he has got to improve on. And look at it. We have a fantastic back 4. I back our back 4 against anybody. If I'm this manager, I'm not putting 3 midfield players at Liverpool, at Manchester City, anywhere in Europe to protect that. It's good enough. It's good enough.
Lee, you're right. You're right. If you look at all 4 of our back 4, all 4 of them actually one-on-one are brilliant defenders.
Exactly.
And then you got Rice there in front of them. You don't need protection. They can all defend. So you can leave Saliba in a race one-on-one or Saliba and Gabriel 2-on-2. And I trust them. I'd back Saliba and Gabriel 2-on-2 against any front 2 in Europe. If we had a weak back 4 that needed protection, I'd understand it.
Yeah,
but these guys, Timber's the best one-on-one defender in the league. They don't need protection. I don't understand why he's got these brilliant defenders and then he's giving them extra protection at the cost of our attack. He needs to release the shackles, and otherwise we're not going to win this league. We're just not. It's simple. You've got anyway.
That's why I was quite hopeful after the Man United game, where everyone was shitting on our performance. I thought, yeah, but actually we were quite open, and he was actually trusting our defenders individually to get us through it. That's how I saw it. Against Liverpool, I get Liverpool are better than Man United, but there was just, well, actually, again, in the first half, he was trusting them a little bit more. We were pressing 1-to-1. It was a man-to-man press. We were squeezing them and winning the ball back in midfield and doing some nice things. We just never wanted to play it forward and build on that platform. That for me, fundamentally, that's my analysis of the game. That is it. We get a foothold in the game, which we're quite good at doing in big games. But like, at what point do you want to just turn up the heat a little bit? And we didn't.
Also,
again.
lads, I'm gonna bring it up. The goalkeeper, 35 yards out. I've watched it a few times. He shouldn't be beaten from there. I'm sorry, he should not be beaten from there. Like people say, it hit the post. He was beaten before it hit the post. I'm so, like, it's a great free kick and all that, but you should
Lee,
not
I'm
be
glad,
beaten from there.
glad you've said that, Lee, because I was 50-50 on it because it's a great strike. It's not just the distance, 35 yards. Is you shouldn't really be getting beat. He's central. Like the Szoboslai, the kick is central. Like if it was at an angle, but the kick is quite central. I don't know if he should be getting beat from that far out. That central. I'm kind of with you, Lee. I'm not sure. It's great goalkeeping,
Guys. It's unbelievable. How we can't blame Raya, surely.
I'm not, James. I don't think a goal. I think when you get beaten for 35 yards, and it may be, I think there's got to be question mark. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it is, but you know, it's a great free kick. I look back at when David Seaman got beaten against Paul Gascoigne, like from a big. I look at it and go, you know, I expect better. When he went to shoot that, I said, go on, shoot, and you ain't beating him from there. And it went bang straight in, like, you know what I mean? I'm just questioning it. That's all I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? I don't think a goalkeeper of his quality should be beaten from there.
Any keeper.
And even the whole, like, which hasn't been mentioned, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but I'm going to mention it because it was weird to me. The out-swinging corners. Like, you built your whole set-piece routine and fear factor off in-swinging corners. You've got Madueke, a 52 million signing left-footed player on the pitch. Right. And you've decided to put Rice on both corner duties. And lo and behold, our corners were probably the worst they've been in the 3 games. We didn't have anything off the back of any of the corners.
I think that was planned, though. I think they recognised that Konate and Van Dijk and Alisson to a degree as well are very good in the air. So I think in-swingers, we will never know, but I think in-swingers against competent centre-backs who are big, I think you're favouring the defenders rather than your own attackers. I think out-swingers, you're giving your attackers a better chance. I think it was intentional. I think they just recognised that if we keep doing it, if we keep giving in-swings like we normally do, this isn't Man United. This is a competent back two and a competent keeper. You're not going to have much joy. So I don't know, but I think it was. I agree with
you both. I think it was intentional, but I don't think that's good enough. Like we've had a method that's worked, and we didn't ask enough questions. We had enough corners to throw different problems.
Exactly. At what point do you say, okay, this is not working, Madueke, go take them? You know,
well, at what point? I mean, they did put the in-swinger in.
And ultimately it comes down to, for me, the biggest frustration and the biggest indicator that this is Mikel Arteta, and it's a bigger him issue than it is anything else, is that, let's be honest, if Odegaard was fit, Odegaard starts that game, right? So with the decision that he's not fit, which side did Arteta lean on? Odegaard's defensive side or Odegaard's attacking side? The defensive side. He went with Marino. So that is Arteta in a nutshell. Yeah, really, it also tells me that Odegaard plays in that position more because of his work rate and his defensive attributes than it does what he does for the attack. And ultimately, it comes back down to that problem too, because when Odegaard plays, we also don't create enough chances. Why? Because the mentality of the manager is stifling. He has a cheek to talk about Eze coming in and saying, we have to give him the capacity and freedom to express himself. Brother, what attacker have you given the capacity and freedom to express themselves in your time here since 22-23 season, which I'll allow with Jesus, Martinelli and Saka? Since then, what attacker have you allowed the capacity and freedom, Mikel, to do what he needs to do, wants to do on that pitch? From when you lot are talking about Martinelli shitting himself in the final third, thinking I might need to pass it back because that is the phase of play we're in now. Attackers need to have that freedom that, shit, I'm in a good position here. If I just drop a shoulder on this guy, I can take a shot. That every attacker should have that mentality. Fuck what the manager thinks. I'm in the final third. I'm about to do something here. That's what a great attacker thinks. Shit, I'm here, piddle paddle, pass it back. Like, what the fuck?
And I think that's if you're going to set up that way,
piddle paddle describes Martinelli, though. Do you understand what I'm saying? Piddle paddle, he does that. Piddle paddle, piddle paddle. What the fuck are you doing?
You're right. And if you're going to set up that way with that sort of lineup, if you'd have got a 0-0, I'd actually still come on today and criticize Arteta. I would.
Yeah,
I would have. Yeah, I would have.
Even if it was 0-0,
Wholeheartedly, I would have.
I would have called him out if it was 0-0. But at least you got a point. Like at least you'd have got a point out of it and a clean sheet. So be like, all right, I don't like his intent, but at least he got a point at Anfield's always a good point. But the intent would have been good. But to play that way, set up and then lose it, brother. The only positive for me, well, Mosquera's debut was good. The only positive for me from that game, guys, was Calafiore. I've got to hold my hands up and say, yo, I've been saying I don't want to see this guy at left back. I don't think he's a left back. I don't trust him at left back. It's only 3 games, granted, but so far, like, Salah was locked up. Salah was locked up, and like I said, I think he was locked up 1-on-1 with no help from Martinelli on this game.
He was outstanding.
I thought he was man of the match. He was absolutely brilliant, Calafiore. So Ricardo, hands up. I'm not changed my mind yet, but so far you are shutting me up.
I see a poll on AFTV that the man of the match was Madueke. Can someone tell me why he was man of the match?
The social media fan base is fucking gone at the head.
I want to know why he was given man of the match.
There's very little up there.
I know why, Lee. I know why. Because this is the same thing we did with Martinelli. People get confused with touching the ball lots and being on the ball lot with actual output. His output wasn't particularly amazing. He won a few corners and he got a couple of shots off. But that shouldn't deem man of the match for me. But because he got on the ball lots, people think, oh, he played really, really well. No. What did he do? His output.
He done all right. He done all right. But when did he put in a pinpoint cross? When did he? He had a good shot in the first half, which was a very good shot, by the way. I didn't see that until I see it on TV. It was a good shot. He done okay, but I think always because it's Mikel signing, people go, oh, give him man of the match. No, like, you know what I mean. Calafiore was outstanding yesterday. He should get a lot of credit for what he done, not just with his defending, because he got forward and got into midfield at times as well. Like, you know what I mean, where he left his man a few times. I thought Gabriel played very, very well as well. Proper leader, proper captain's performance. If I'll be honest, Mosquera was outstanding when he come on.
Say, Lee, sorry, they'll kill you. It's Mosquera, not
Mosquera. Sorry, Mosquera. He was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. The confidence of that kid was unreal. To come on in that, I think that by bringing it, he was my man in the match for the way I thought Declan Rice played very, very well in midfield without being like the opponent player going forward, but winning things, driving, and everything like that. You know, and then they're giving it to him. I don't understand that. Like, you know, it's just
this is trying to justify the signing, isn't it? This is
yes, I think it is.
And I saw this yesterday online. I have to say, the answer is somewhere in the middle. You know, I can't stand some of the punditry around Arsenal. I think the way we are judged is just so the narrative has always swung in a certain way. To make Arsenal out as worse. It always is. I genuinely believe that. Why? Because it drives clicks and engagement. I don't know if you saw, but apparently David Raya was asked about the ball and he answered it, and it's cut up and it's put out without the question. So it looks like Raya's just complaining about the ball after he's conceded that kind of goal. Like, I've got no doubt that there's this constant mainstream media kind of like, fury driven up. Why? Because Arsenal fans eat it up online, and Arsenal fans are the opposite. We're too much the other way, where we're trying to defend everything. And I see everyone going, oh, we were defensive, but we had more shots and more touches in the opposition box and more. Yeah, I mean, I referenced those stats earlier, but maybe to describe a platform we have in the game, or to describe certain things we did quite well, or maybe a bit better than Liverpool. But how can anyone look at that game and said Arsenal had a go? You can't look at that game and say Arsenal had a go. You can rightly say, well, I'm not sure Liverpool had a go. Fine. But who's really defending our intent to win the game in that game? I find that really strange. And so the narrative and the conversation around Arsenal I always find so skewed and so disingenuous from both sides. Arsenal fans are doing way too much to defend certain things. I think pundits are doing way too much to pour, fuel on the fire of what's going on at Arsenal. When reality is, we played okay. We probably deserved a draw in terms of the actual game, but we didn't get it. Why? Because Liverpool had a moment of magic and probably wanted to win it a little bit more. And that is it. Was it good enough? No. Was it terrible? No. Are we a bad team? No. I think we showed again yesterday we're a very good side, but we want to be a great side. So anyway, all this was to say, you go back to Madueke. People are giving him man of the match. He was good. He caused Kirkus some problems. He was the better of the front four, no question. But he wasn't better than Mosquera or Gabriel or Calafiori or Rice. He wasn't better than any of those four. So I have him fifth, maybe at best.
Just back on the quotes from Raya. Don't say that. Just don't say that. Like I know what you're saying in terms that it's been taken out of context, but even with the question, don't say that.
But wasn't he just saying, look, you know,
it might be true. It actually might, and in fact, James, I've got a friend that works at Sky who said to me this morning that when the pre-season they had the balls in the office at Sky, right, and the balls apparently are really, really light and airy. So what Raya was saying actually probably is true. Just don't say it.
Yeah, but if he's been asked a question, like I don't really care. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, but make these fucking idiots.
What's that?
Make the like, bro. If you're asking me about the ball after we've just lost the biggest game of the season, I'm gonna ask you, why are you asking me about the ball? Instead of answering Jordan's right, why are you asking me about the ball? Just tell the journalists that. Why make them look stupid and feel stupid for these stupid questions all the time? Because it happens in press conferences too. Why are you asking me about the ball?
Let's see what they said. It's a legitimate conversation.
You've got to be a little bit more aware of it. I tell you, I'm sort of pampered all the time, Jordan. Like we've seen it on the tour.
Jordan said it might be right. Not a legitimate conversation. Yeah. The ball is never a legitimate conversation. Never is a ball a legitimate conversation. It might be true.
Huh? I mean, we don't know the question. The question might have been on the free kick. There seemed to be a slight swerve. Is that because of the new ball? Like that might be a legitimate question. I'm just saying we lost the game 1-0. It's a great free kick. Just don't answer it. Or
he pretty much said, you know, yeah, maybe, but we need to get used to it or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is it so bad?
Or if the ball is an issue, if the ball is genuinely an issue, bring it up when you win.
All I would say is, and the fact of the matter is, he's got history of free kicks like that. He's got a few free kicks from distance. Just say that. He's done it with different balls. You know what I mean? He is a very, very good free. I showed you one that he scored, I think, does he play for Hungary, does he?
Yeah, against Turkey, yeah.
It was about 40 yards out and he smashed it in the top corner. So he's got history. Not nothing to do with the ball.
Say? Don't piss me off 1 hour in.
Sorry, Lee. Sorry.
I've just listened to it back and I slightly take back what I said. It was a little bit too excusey. So yeah, fine.
Final complaint from me: the Darman sub. No.
Yeah, that was weird.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was weird. And nothing on Dowman. Just why is Waneri not coming on?
Yeah, that's my point, James.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
I mean,
Waneri coming on.
A lot more answers, a lot more questions than answers. It seems. Big three.
He played that position last season. Like, listen, I'm not having a go at Max here because I think, like, you know, he's done fantastically well. When he played that position last season and done well in it, done well where we was all thinking at one stage, oh, there's our replacement for Saka. Why isn't he? If I'm Waneri yesterday, I don't care if I'm 18. I'm pissed off.
So am I. I agree.
am pissed off. Would he do that would he do? That's why I think maybe Arteta likes younger players because he can do things like that and get away. If that was a proper if he was 25, you know what I mean, I'd be fucking smashing down his door. One, that I didn't start. Two, that you're bringing on Odegaard that's only trained for one session. And let's get it right. I don't know if that's true or not true. You know what I mean? Like that, he might have been training a little bit more and all that. But that's what he's turned around and said. He's had one training session.
Said that, yeah, exactly.
So we're going to have to believe that, right? Whether that's true or not. So that if he has, he's had one training session on a Saturday, which you know is not as intense as the training on during the week, right? And he's come in and took my place. So first of all, he's started in front of me. He's come on before me, and then you're bringing on a 15-year-old kid in front of me as well. I think that's 3 kicks in the arse and in the bollocks that a player he doesn't need.
Not teeth, no. Isn't that kicking the teeth?
Nah,
yeah,
it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more painful in the bollocks, I believe. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, at the end of the day, that isn't it. I would have been fuming if I was him. Like, all the way to Liverpool, I mean, come on, like, do you know,
I wouldn't have been fuming. I don't think he's in a point where he can be fuming, but I'd be confused. I'd be like, what? I'd be confused.
I would be fuming, 18 or not. I would be like, if that happened to me, I'd be thinking you're taking the piss.
Yeah, that would be the normal thought process. You know, this guy's taking the piss. Let's not forget about our best player off the bench in the last few years, who got a pay rise a couple of weeks ago.
Not fit though, was he? He did say that.
He was not fit.
Yeah, he did say he wasn't 100% fit. I think that's what he said yesterday in the press conference. Like, he mentioned injuries and he also mentioned Trossard as well, didn't he?
All right, listen, let's keep it moving because we've passed the hour and we've still got one topic to briefly discuss. Before we do, obviously you can see throughout the show and you've seen throughout the season, William Hill's Final One Standing has been sponsoring the Fourever Arsenal podcast. We've all been taking part. Whether we're taking part moving forward or not, that's another question. But look, one man's laughing there. Last week, Jordan...
I'm laughing, but I'm crying inside. I'm fuming.
I know. Lee and James, got knocked out in game week 2. Me and Jordan were flying the Fourever Arsenal flag high going into game week 3. I went Manchester United to laughter. And
I laughed at you, didn't I? I was saying, nah, bad pick.
You're not laughing now, are you?
You're not laughing now.
And Jordan went Nottingham Forest, who obviously suffered a 3-0 home defeat to West Ham, which means that I'm carrying Fourever Arsenal on my shoulders through the William Hill Final One Standing.
I'm in the other one though, still fighting in the.
Can I join your one?
Huh?
Can I join your one?
Yeah, I think you can join. There's another one you can join, I think.
All right.
I went through in the. Did you go? James didn't.
No, I'm out twice. Two out of 3 weeks. I'm out.
Nah, James might be retire.
And I'm bottom of the Fourever Arsenal League. Oh.
There is another pot coming, people, for game week 4. Obviously, international break. There's a couple of weeks until game week 4, so you can still download the app, use the QR code on the screen now, or use the link in the description or the pinned comment section. Because I believe the pot for game week 4 coming up will be 200k, a chance to win 200k. So there's still big money up for grabs. Even if you are out, even if you've gone out twice in 3 weeks, like James over here, you can still re-enter and give it another go. Don't knock yourself, just go again. It's a chance, it's free to play, and you can change your life. Why not? But yeah, we won't pick our teams now for game week 4. But like I said, download the app, be prepared for it. And as always, James,
gamble responsibly. UK Ireland only, 18+. I had it and then I lost it. But that's like very important, guys. Do gamble responsibly. UK Ireland only, 18+. Important.
There you go. Let me take it home. 3 games in. I don't know how many more to go for that 500, but we'll see. We'll be back on that one on next week's show, people. So obviously, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell. And before we wrap up with comments of the day, no predictions. On top of the wounds of yesterday, going down to the defending champions and our title rivals, they have now confirmed Alexander Isak.
Yeah. Yep. Done last night, wasn't it? Agreed last night, was it?
Mm-hmm. That's the man that, he ain't leaving Newcastle. They got Champions League football. Interesting. Interesting.
Apparently, what I think was he told him in the summer, even with the Champions League football, that he wanted to go.
Of course, Lee, because that is a myth. The bullshit that especially our fans tell ourselves to lick our own wounds is absolute bullshit. You think top players want to just play for a team in the Champions League, or do they want to try win the Champions League? But we tell ourselves everything we can to make ourselves feel better about it. Now, listen, I always said I'd spend 140 on Rodrigo and Gyökeres. It happened to be Gyökeres and Eze. I still wanted the Rodrigo type, but it is what it is. But this whole notion that, and we go back to the way the fans are in terms of making excuses for everything. The extremes are just sickening at times. I'm not. Am I jealous about Isak going Liverpool? I'm jealous about the way Liverpool have moved in terms of they're a big club. They've flexed this summer. They've, they've stretched their legs. They've really gone for it. Like, you look at their summer and you think, on top of a Premier League title, you think, yeah, they're moving like, they want to dominate. That's why I envy it a little, because I'm happy with our transfer window to a certain extent. But when you're happy with something and then the opposition just gets something better, it does make you look and think.
I'm just thinking about it, guys. That their window might be the greatest window in Premier League history. When you think about who they've brought in, but also the money they've got.
Million, Jordan.
Sorry, again?
430 million they've spent.
And think of what the income is. They've got good money for Kwanzaa. They got good money for Diaz. They got decent money for Nunes. They even got a fee for Trent. His contract finished. They even got money for Trent Alexander-Arnold. That might be the greatest window in the Premier League history for in and outgoings. I can't think of a better window. Wirtz, Isak, probably Guéhi. I think Guéhi, if they get him today, that is maybe even the bigger signing than Isak. Because Konate had a good game yesterday, but his injury record is really dodgy. If they can get Guéhi in, who I think from the top 5 defenders, arguably in the league, Isak, Wirtz, who else they bring in? They brought in one more, and the 2 fullbacks. That's more than a flex.
I'd say 2004 Chelsea. I think they bought Drogba, Robben, Carvalho, Petr Cech, and maybe Paulo Ferreira.
I don't know. I think one of the best 10s in Europe, one of the best 2 number 9s in the league. Last year's best left back, best right back in Germany.
Yeah, I get you. Even that Chelsea side was gems that could become stars, whereas Liverpool,
they're buying certified bad bad.
I get that.
Anyway.
What does that do for our hopes and or fears?
We can't focus on that. We just got to do our. We just got. We're 3 points behind
them, haven't we? We could have been 3 points in front of them yesterday. That was the thing. I thought it was an opportunity yesterday. Wirtz yesterday, non-existent. You know what I mean? Like absolutely, like lightweight, right? Mm-hmm. But he ain't going to be in 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks' time. He's going to get up to it all, Now they've got Isak, If they bring in Guéhi as well, it's an unbelievable window, you know what I mean, for them. Their fullbacks are not at the level that they should be. Like, they had a midfielder playing in there who, by the way, weakened their midfield yesterday. And with that in mind, Arteta still looked at it and still went with more. That was for me. We're going to play him in there, right? We're going to win this midfield battle now. McAllister done well, but he's not fit. He's only just come back from injury. There was so many opportunities there to go up there. And listen, I get it. Somebody said yesterday, we played Liverpool last season without a back 4. We played Liverpool without our probably 2 best players yesterday. There is a little bit of that in it, but at the end of the day, I still think we had enough yesterday to say, right, let's put it on you. Put it on them. We didn't. Now they're going to go there with Isak. Can I just say it, boys? Look at the lift we had with the Eze signing. It was fantastic. They're going to get that more now with Isak. It's an unbelievable signing, boys. It's an unbelievable signing from a player that we didn't think was going to happen. And I don't know if we should be in the mix. I think maybe we should be the way that Arsenal play. I'm a little bit worried that Gyökeres is not the sort of striker that Arteta wanted. You know what I mean? And maybe we should have gone down that route.
We won't do that though. We don't move like a big club. We don't do that.
No, we have moved like a big club this year. I disagree.
No, we haven't. We bought players that we buy even if we finished 3rd or 4th last season. What one player did we buy that? Yeah, all the money we spent.
Listen, we've got a striker in that we've all wanted. Look, come on, this is what I know. But at the end of the day, everybody turned around and said Gyökeres. You know what I mean? I'm going down that route.
But I think, Lee, no. I turned around, Lee. End of last season, I turned around and said, at least go and bid for Isak. Go and see what happens. We might
have asked. He might have said he wanted Liverpool. I don't know.
But what you're saying is, it's a result of the way we are. the way Arsenal have moved over the years means our fans would rather say, let's go for Gyökeres or Osimhen because we can't get in this sack because it's 130 million, it's 150 million. It's embedded in us because this ownership have done this to us. When the reality is, we lick our wounds with, he made Champions League, he ain't going to come Arsenal.
No, I
What
get that.
nonsense is
Listen,
that?
125 million, I think that Arsenal should be in that mix. 150, I think, was being quoted before. Like, and that weren't going to happen. Now, it was 100 million, if I believe, was being quoted if they didn't get Champions League. They've got Champions League football, and he's gone for 125 million. I think Arsenal should be in that mix when they've spent 105 on Declan Rice. We should have been in the mix. But I don't know if Arsenal wanted to be in where like they've what when we say about it, you know what I mean? Why couldn't Liverpool just say like at the beginning? We was in the Newcastle hotel. And what did they say? You know what I mean? Like if they stump up the money, they get him like that. Why didn't they stump up the 125 million at the beginning of the transfer window? They didn't, did they?
I think Lee, I think what happened with that, Lee, is I think 150 is what they wanted and would have got. I think Isak's behaviour has lowered the value. I think because if he'd have kept his mouth shut, I think Newcastle get 140, 150. Because he's been the way he's been behaving, that has brought the value down because they know now the guy he wants out. And just quickly to your point about moving like a big club, for all the money we've spent, for all the attackers we've brought in, we still haven't got an attacker better than Salah. Liverpool have still got the best keeper in the league, the best defender in the league. So all the stuff that we've done, we've still got a team that's, in terms of personnel in certain areas, inferior to Liverpool.
But we weren't ever going to find Salah, Van Dijk or Alisson in the window. We weren't going to find that player.
No. But I'm just true. I'm just making the point. For all the money we've spent, we still don't have the best team in the league.
wouldn't swap our two centre halves for no one.
But this is where I think
Van Dijk. Would you swap Van Dijk for Saliba
for a one-off season? Yes.
But
yeah.
okay,
he's better than him. He's better.
Yeah, I think probably. I think the thing is though, with Liverpool in their window, they've added some unbelievable players. I still think they had issues, really, in terms of. I think they have issues defensively that I'm not so sure they've addressed. Even if they bring in full defenders, Frimpong, Kirkes, Leone, and Gehi, if Gehi gets done at the moment, it's 50-50. I'm not sure they've quite addressed the defensive issues they've got. But Arne Slot made it quite clear in a really fascinating interview where they talked tactics, him and Jamie Carragher. He made it quite clear that he wants his team to be really attacking. He wants his team to be on the front foot and entertaining. And so maybe he's just thinking, yeah, great, but I think the answer is more goals. So, okay, that's how Liverpool are approaching it. I think Arsenal have had actually a very balanced window. We've addressed lots of different areas. We've addressed depth in the front three. We've addressed an out-and-out 9 that gets goals. We saw that against Leeds last week. We've added a 10 who can also play on the left. We've added a new 6 that complements Rice. We've added sort of new defenders. I think we've had a very, very good window. But I do agree with this point that even from a PR and optics perspective, look, I think it's probably sensible of Arsenal not to get dragged all the way to deadline day in a battle with Isak. Why? Because he'll probably choose Liverpool, firstly. I mean, even if we were in this, even if we match the fee, he's probably choosing Liverpool, firstly. And secondly, we had lots of other errors in the score. Sorry?
Why do you say that? Because you've been tainted by Kroenke?
No, because they're the champions, mate.
But we finished second, so it's not like oh, am I going to join a team that's going into Champions League? He could be the decider from second to first. So do you think the only reason he signs for them is because they're champions? That's the only reason that he'd pick them over us?
Yeah. I think if this were the year before, I think he'd have picked us. I think if this was summer 2024, I think he'd have picked us because we looked closer to achieving those things. Then Liverpool and Arne Slot leapfrog us. People forget we finished above Klopp's Liverpool 2 years in a row on route to finishing second, admittedly. But you know, actually, then in that time they won trophies. So actually, maybe you'd have picked them anyway. But I think he was always going to pick them. So I can understand why we wouldn't want to go all the way to deadline day when we had all this other stuff to do. But I think from an optics and even PR perspective, I don't really know why we weren't even testing the waters, even trying to have that conversation in June or July before pivoting and going, okay, cool. Well, we've got other things to do. We're going to bow out this race once we understand. But if Isak had come out and gone, yeah, you're my number one, then maybe it's worth going to the very end to try to get that done. I don't know. There's so much going on behind the scenes we don't know. There's so much going on behind the scenes.
I think you're both right. I think he picks, if it's a 50-50, I think he picks Arsenal. However, I think James is right in that. Do you want to go into the last day of the window to risk it, or do you want to get your striker in as we have done 3 weeks ago?
Liverpool. He'd have picked Liverpool, 100%.
You think? He might have. He might have.
100%.
Maybe I'm just being biased.
But I'll flip it back to you, Turkish. Why wouldn't he pick Liverpool over us?
But you've only given me the champions reason, though. I think London plays a part. I think the fact he's got number 14 on his shirt and the history behind 14 would play a part. I think, you know, you look at Liverpool and they already have greats there. They already have players that you assign to these league titles, and he's going into that. Whereas if he comes here and wins us a league title, he goes down in, you know, the status he goes down in. If he, you know, any player comes to win us the league title after 21 years, crazy. It's the same status as Salah, what he done for Liverpool after 30 years. You know, so I think there's a lot of reasons why he would have joined Arsenal, but we didn't enter the market.
Isak would have loved to join
us. All the Rio Sociedad boys are there as well. Why? I think that might have been an influence.
I think Isak would have loved to have joined us, but I don't think he'd ever have picked us over Liverpool. You know, again, okay, you're right. He can make a name for himself at Arsenal and be a particular player, but he wants to play with Alisson and Van Dijk and Salah. He wants to play in front of the Kop. He wants to play for the champions. He wants to play for a team that have been there and done it. He wants to play for a team that when they weren't winning the title and they were finishing below us the last 2 seasons, were at least getting to finals and winning other competitions like FA Cups and Carabao Cups, en route to at least being competitive. Like Liverpool are, on paper, in terms of achievements, miles ahead of us for these last, I mean, maybe in history, but the last 5 years where we've supposedly kind of been competitive. And I think the minute they entered the chat, we weren't going to come away with him. But I would like us to, up to mid-July, have been a part of that conversation. You know, when it was Gyökeres Sesko, it should have been Gyökeres Isak, but more of like a, you know, they're looking at Gyökeres, but they want Isak. They're trying to see what can be done there. They've had a bid rejected, something like that, and then you pivot because you recognise there's too much work you've got to do elsewhere, and it's going to cost too much. And Liverpool are in the conversation. That would have looked better, but ultimately, it wouldn't have changed the outcome. He'd have ended up at Liverpool. We'd end up with the players we've got. So I won't lose sleep over it.
Yeah, until they go and win the league, and Isak's got another 20-goal season, and then we wonder why. But yeah,
I know it's not always the best teams with the best players. I think Arteta's got the tools, even though Isak's gone to Liverpool. I think if he's a good enough manager, he's got the tools to win this league.
I don't know.
Now Slot does too. Slot does too,
because he's proven it.
I'm talking the tools, like the players, the resources.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The money's been there. I believe there's quality in our squad. You know, I still believe we've got the best defense, the best back four. And you know, the tools are there. So it's like Isak makes Liverpool even better team. They're so scary, but I think we've got very good players, and
it also could bring problems, James. It could still bring problems to them. You know what I mean? Ekitike now is not going to play. You know what I mean? Like, he'll get games, but he's not going to be the number one. You know, they might go, oh, we put him out on the left. You know, Gakpo's just signed a new contract. Like, you know what I mean? There might be problems. Let's hope there is.
On that note, I'm done talking about Liverpool. They took the 3 points. They've got Isak and his international break. They've won 3 out of 3.
Good couple of days for them.
Yeah, it's been a good year for them. And, you know, you look at last season as well, and yeah, it is what it is. We move, people. We'll be back to talk about what's the next game. Forest, leading up to that Forest game. We might bring you another Fourever Arsenal later this week. If we do, let us know what you want it to be about. Something off the cuff, something different, a quiz, a debate on a particular subject, something more lighthearted. You can let us know in the comment section below. And on the comment section, have we got comments of the day ready?
No, God, I
got one.
I completely forgot. You guys carry on.
No, I got that. Lee reflecting on the wartime visits to Port Vale.
I had that one as well.
That's how.
What is it with this lot? You know what I mean? Big up Jason, by the way. Like, you know what I mean? Who's a big fan of the podcast, and yeah. Obviously, who was that? I can't even read who it was. I got my glasses.
Whoever it was, legend.
Yeah, no, I'm not a legend in my eyes.
Wartime. That's so out of order.
It's so out of order. I don't know even why I'm bringing it up, really, but it did make me chuckle.
It's a good one. It's a good one. My comment of the day comes from my match reaction, but it links to Fourever Arsenal. I saw it yesterday and I thought, yeah, let me put this one in. Daniel Defoe said, remember on Fourever how you laughed Jordan's suggestion of starting Mourinho in this game? Mikel really ran with it. Joke, man. I agree.
He did run with it.
Just saying, innit? I know my football.
Yeah, but it
No,
didn't
but
work.
it makes him a joke, man. So he's just joined you as a joke, man. So
Listen, I didn't say it would work. I just
you're
said
not
that that's what it would do.
geniuses.
Didn't say it was a good thing. I got one. The top 10 motivational speakers, and he got to 4. Number 4, Winston Churchill. Number 3, the Chinese Beaver. Number 2, Nelson Mandela. Number 1, Jordan, when the others have stopped listening.
That is a good one, you know. I can't lie, I got to clap that one. That was a good one.
No, you wanker.
Big up the community. Listen, as much as this pod has been a sour one, we still ended with a few minutes of laughter because of the comment section. And keep it coming, people. The table ain't changed, hence why I didn't bring it up. Jordan, myself, and Lee are all on 2 points. James is on 1 point. So after 3 games played, that's how it's looking. For audio listeners, Jordan is losing it, fist pump in the air, and he's nearly doing a knee slide. Someone let him know it's only game week 3. And yeah, we'll get back into it for game week 4 around the corner. We're going to wrap it up here, people. Jordan, Lee, James, as always, been a pleasure. People, Lee Judges TV, Road to 50k, Whisper It Loudly, World's Coolest Disabled, that's Jordan's channels, Gooniverse and Gooniverse 2, that's James's channels, and I'm on here, Turkish LDN, the Big 6. You can find us here, there, everywhere, people. So make sure you subscribe and show the same love you do over here on our individual channels too. We'll be back when we're back. Like I said, if you want to see a special episode to fill out international break this week at some point, then let us know what you want it to be about. If we get a good enough suggestion, we do it. If we don't, then it means, yeah, get your suggestion game up, people. On that note, I'll be checking the comments. Love for the love. See you soon. Peace.